Hello, I'm Dale Petronk. It has been a while since I posted a video, mostly because I started on a project that took a lot longer than I anticipated. I was going to check and see how my CC-457 shot ARA Factory Class targets shooting different kinds of ammo. And so I began that process only to discover I really needed to do this over multiple sessions, over multiple days, and trying to hit days with the weather that were similar and functioned well was not easy to do. So the process took a lot longer than I had anticipated. The rifles used to make this test were a pair of CZ-457 MTRs, one that I've had for several years, probably 2 years, and one I've had about a month. The first one is set up with initially with a Vortex Diamondback 6x24 scope, and then later through the testing somewhere I switched it over to an Altheon Argos 10x40, just because of the kind of shooting I was doing in other areas, and so that necessitated the change. The second rifle is set up with a Swamp Fox Patriot 6x24. Again, the first rifle has a reduced trigger spring in it, so it pulls about 6 ounces, roughly 6 to 8. The second rifle has a jarred 3 to 6 ounce trigger in it, and it probably pulls about 4 ounces is my guess in that particular case. While there's certainly no way to even out the days and the weather across days, I tried to pick days that were very similar in weather. The wind, temperatures, obviously across October to December changed a fair bit. Was fairly warm in October, being in the 70s and 80s. And by the time December rolled around, I think the coldest that I was shooting was in the mid 40s or high 30s. So other than that, I tried to keep it fairly smooth. You'll see one set of dates that are marked that the weather was a little less exciting than the rest of the time I was shooting. But that's part of what took so long, was finding compatible days in terms of weather. The other thing you'll notice is that on several days I shot 2 different kinds of ammo, or perhaps even 3 on some occasions. And that was to get a sense of how much of it was the weather and how much of it was me or that day, the impact of day-specific kind of things. I'll provide some sense of what that's like in terms of that part of the process. The usual disclaimers apply. These are not lot-tested ammo, so they certainly might shoot better or worse in your rifle, or I might have better lots the next time I buy a brick of ammo than I have found in the lot that I have shot here. I don't lot test ammo. I buy a brick or more and shoot it until that is done, and sometimes I get good lots and sometimes I do not. So these are just simply bricks that have been bought and shot in this rifle or these rifles along the way. Note that your rifle may like a different kind of ammo entirely. This is simply to give you a sense of what it works like in my rifle. It may work differently in yours, so your results may vary. As you can see probably from the screen right now, with the first ZZ, the ammo that I tested included Tac-22, Eley Match, Eley Team, SK Rifle Match, Lapua Center X, SK Long Range Match, and SK Pistol Match Special. Now, Pistol Match Special is supposed to be a lower version of SK Long Range. However, in many cases, I find it to shoot a little better than I do the SK Long Range, and you'll see that kind of in this result as well. Notice again that there are days where there are multiple kinds of ammo being shot. For example, on 11-10-23, you'll see SK Long Range Match as well as SK Pistol Match Special. That gives you a sense of how much of it was the ammo of the rifle that day, so that you can see some days I just seem to shoot better than other days I didn't see anything in the weather to indicate it was an issue, but some days I just have better days than others. And so that's helpful to kind of see. You'll see that with some of the other dates as you look across to get a sense of how much was the day, whether that be weather or me, in the process. You'll also see the color coding. The yellow, or what I perceive as yellow anyway, is the sessions where I was shooting off a bipod. And this is standard two-leg bipod here, nothing special, kind of a Harris-style bipod. The others are various forms of a bag or rock BR front rest. And so that's what you see there. That's to give a sense of how much of it might have impacted the results. My experience with this and with my shooting air rifles, etc., is that I shoot about the same off of bipods as I do front rests, as I do off of loose bags. The difference is the speed at which I can go about it. With the front rest, I can move more quickly from target to target when I'm shooting single shot bull targets than I can with the bipod or with the bag. It takes me longer between shots to get oriented and set back into place, etc., etc. You'll also see that I have a second rifle that I use to kind of cross-check, and I'll show you the results of that. And you can see that the results are very similar. In terms of performance, we saw days where I was shooting 2400 and days where I was shooting, 17 in the 1700s or so. And so the variation across the ammo and days and shooting kind of even out, and so the average scores are down below. And what you see there is the results from that. By the time I was done, I was able to then take and average the scores for over the 50 sessions, 50 plus sessions with the one rifle in particular. And what you see on your screen now is the rank order and scores across the sessions. SK Pistol Match Special was scoring on average 2263.8. and it ranked at number 1, and it had a standard deviation and scores of 131.3 points across all 10 targets. Center X came in second at 2206.3. It had a standard deviation of 125.2 points. Tac-22 came in third, but that's largely because there were only 3 sessions. And in that particular case, we saw a fairly large standard deviation, 176.2. The next ammo that came in terms of the process was Eley Match. Some of that may have been that I just had the brick I bought didn't work well, but Eley has never performed very well for me in my CZ457, and it doesn't seem to do much better in the second CZ457 that I own either. I don't know why. Some people have a great luck with it. I have not. In terms of Eley Match, it came in fourth at 2117.0 with a standard deviation at 265.3, which is one of the largest, if not the largest, standard deviation of all of the ammo that I tested. SK Long Range Match came in fifth at 1956.5, with Eley Team coming in at 1898 and SK Rifle Match 1893. Now, I have over time hit lots of Eley Team that work extremely well, but this particular lot, or I think actually 2 lots, did not seem to perform very well for me. SK Rifle Match, sometimes I get lots of that shoot very well, and other times I do not. This was about an average one, nothing special. It didn't do very well for the most part, although there were some better scores. For the most part, it was right around 2,000, and what you see there is about where it turned out. And that's consistent across both rifles. So overall, what I find works best for me consistently is SK Pistol Match Special if I hit the right lot, and or Center X if I hit the right lot. Consistently, over time, Center X has had the most consistent lot-to-lot performance, although there are situations where Pistol Match Special, as you see here, performs much better. And I haven't had a terrible batch of SK Pistol Match Special either. So those two consistently perform well for me. SK Long Range Match has at times done well and other times not done well. This has been a kind of a mediocre performing batch of that ammo, a lot of that ammo. And so once again, that's what you see here in terms of performance. Overall, when I go to buy ammo and I'm looking for something to practice with, Tac-22 historically works well. There's a great deal of variation from lot to lot, and so some lots of Tac-22 shoot very well, as you see here. Other lots do not shoot very well, and you'll see that with the second CZ rifle performance. In general, what I practice, though, it's Tac-22 that I pull out because I have some sense of how it performs. And what I need to know is how it performs relative to me. And so that gives me a good sense of where things are at. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. These are my results. And again, your rifle may or may not shoot these things as well or better. You may be able to get a lot tested that works really well of one of the ones that didn't work well for me. So I wish you the best, and may all your scores be X's. Thank you.